You're never gonna make it, you're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many obstacles, you gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow, you can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the f*** are you to tell me what to do? I don't give a if you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move, I'm gonna make it soon. And I'll do it cause it's what I wanna f***ing do. Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions, they blocking your vision. But no, you can't listen, that shit is all fiction. Cause you hold the power as long as you're driven.
There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it.
Oh, will you fight?
Hello and welcome to Game Day from the UK, another live Miami UK streaming show here today to preview tonight's epic and anticipated game against the Chicago Bulls. A little bit thin on the ground tonight, but we've got my guys come through clutch. It is a Saturday night, so I can't complain. You know, guys have got things to do. But as always, I've got with me my two originals, Sam Aquara, John Jablonka. Sam, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. Bit cold, but I'm good. How about you?
I was going to say, you're a bit cold, man. You've got your thick jumper on there and your hat.
Yeah, had a bit of snow this morning, but it's all good.
It is chilly. It is chilly out there. Yeah, very, very un-Miami-esque weather we're having in the UK, but such is life. John Jablonka, how are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing great, thanks.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Well, as always, guys, we will start off with a reflection on the last game out, which was the Timberwolves loss, 113 to 101. Sam, we said it was always going to be a tricky one. Maybe you was a little bit. I think you was quite confident in this.
I was irrationally confident. That was the word I used. And it seemed to be paying off in the first half. Like the first two quarters seemed to be going well. We got Karl Anthony Towns in foul trouble, and it just looked like everything was going fine. And somehow in the third quarter, it just went downhill.
Yeah, the third quarter that we highlighted last time out, being Miami's one of the best quarters in the league. I think second best in the league for third quarter net rating. So that came back to bite us big time. A guy you highlighted, Sam, was Anthony Edwards, and he balled out, didn't he? 33 points, 14 rebounds. Exciting player. It was difficult to stop him, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that little scuffle he had with Jimmy Butler, I don't know if that got into Jimmy's head, but Jimmy was out of it for the second half of the game. And yeah, he just seemed to be making a statement, and I think he wants to be the leader of that team. And with him doing what he's doing, it seems to be making a difference for that team as opposed to the usual Cat and D'Angelo Russell sort of leadership.
Yeah, John, one thing when I was looking back at some of the stats, I'm not a massive stats guy, not so much, I know you are, but I look at them, but I don't dig too much into them. But one thing that I did sort of raise some eyebrows when you look at why this game ended in defeat, 93 to 74 field goal attempts we was outscored by, 55 three-point attempts for Timberwolves, 42 for Miami, 15 offensive rebounds, 4 for Miami. That's going to have a big part to say in an L, isn't it?
Yeah, and just the defensive energy wasn't there in the first quarter. Had like 7 offensive rebounds just from that, and just allowing an athletic long team to get rebounds and then just get those second chance opportunities will just demoralize you as well. Turnovers didn't help either. We had one of the worst games of the season turnover wise.
Yeah.
And I saw the stats I put out was the games where Heats shoot more threes than twos, they are 0-2. So if they don't get into the rim or their mid range and just rely on their shooting, they will lose games because Duncan's not shooting well and Larry's not shooting well.
It's an interesting stat, but one that when you say it, it's actually pretty obvious, isn't it? We're not shooting well at the moment. Our two sort of go-to three-point shooters in terms of starters anyway are Karl and Duncan. Both of them are in slump, still are, really. I know Duncan came back a bit, but he's still in this slump. Yeah, it seems obvious, doesn't it, that's the reason. Oh, and when we're out shooting threes to twos, it's not ending well, and it seems obvious in that sense. Sam, it's one of those games again. Timberwolves, that's 5 in a row we've now lost there. Might be 4 in a row, 4 or 5 in a row that we've lost in that arena.
Actually, it's not 1 in a row. I checked, and then we won a game, didn't we, last year with them?
Did we? I thought I'd read somewhere that we'd lost 3 or 4 in a row in their arena. I know
Oh,
we
in
beat
their
them
arena.
in their arena, and that sort of becomes maybe quite obviously to the fact that they seem to circle this game, didn't they? There's still some beef there with Jimmy Butler. They want to make a point. The arena is always pumped for it, and they've got our number. We've got to say in that arena, they've got our number.
I mean, if you ask me, it's irrelevant. It's just 1 out of 82, and especially if they're in the other conference, it doesn't really help our seeding anyways. But at the end of the day, you'd want to win every single game you can. And Heat being on the road this season, we're not that strong on the road, but it's just one of those games. To me, it's meaningless, but I guess they take it a lot more serious than I do.
Yeah, that's it. It does seem like they do. They give that extra 10% against Jimmy and the Heat. Just quickly before we come on to the Bulls game, then Sam, stand with you for a second. You mentioned it there. The Heat on the road are not a very good team. Well, I say not a very good team. They're an adequate team. They're 6-6 now. So 6 of their 7 defeats this season have come on the road. Is that concerning?
Not yet. Not yet. I'd say give it till about Marchish, and if we're still terrible, not so good on the road, then we might have an issue in the playoffs. But it's still a fresh team. I mean, I've been saying this for the past 2 live streams, but yeah, it's still a new team that's been put together. We still haven't yet seen like full effects of Kyle Lowry on this team, and they're just trying to find their way. And at home, it seems to be working, but just not yet on the road. So for now, it's not something I'm worried about.
No, that's right, and we haven't played that many games on the road on home court. And what's promising about it? We've gone for a very, very strong, very tough start. And I'll bring up this graphic if this works. Yep, here we go. This is the strength of schedule remaining. I know it seems a little bit ridiculous because there's such a long way to go, but this is the strength of schedule left. So Miami have the easiest schedule remaining. I know we're a long way to go left in the season, but having gone through such a tough start and having played so many games on the road, I look at this differential there. You can't see because of the scrolling graphic, but you look at Sacramento, they're in 9. This is the top 10. They're -5 there. Denver, even. Atlanta, +1. Charlotte, +4. Toronto, -1. Cleveland, -1. Philadelphia, +1. Indiana, -4. Miami, with the easiest schedule remaining, are +5. So that in terms of wins to losses. So that's encouraging. That's encouraging to think that we've got a lot of games coming on the road. I know we've got another sort of little run coming up on the road again, but so many games to come on home court, John. And already with 3/4 of the season to go, the easiest run strength of schedule. That's something that could make any Heat fan smile.
Yeah, I actually just looked more into it before. We've still got so many games left against teams that are right now under 30% win percentage. Wow. I think we've got like 14 games against teams like that. So yeah, we got through the hardest part and we're 5 games over 500. So I don't see the overreaction to a game.
It's not even just that though. It might be we're well above 500, but we're like third seed in the East, and if you consider how strong our schedule's been, that's really good. So yeah, just putting that into perspective, that's a really good start to the season, if you ask me.
Exactly that. It is perspective because also during that stretch we've had injuries as well. Every single starter has had games out. So to have that, and remember, Pat Riley said at the start of just before on his pre-season presser, he said if we can get through that first month in good form, in good shape, then we're going to be looking in good. We're going to be good going forward. And this is the case, as you said, a 3 seed, 5 games against 500, above 500, plenty of home games to come. The hardest part of the schedule already under wraps. If we can stay healthy, plenty to be encouraged about. So let's go on to
losses that we lose, even the games that we lose, a 3-point to both LA teams, a 3-point to Wizards, and 2 fluky games against Boston and Denver.
Yep. Well, again, that's a really good point, and we've said this as well before that when we're beating teams, we're beating teams by double digits and more. We're almost blowing out teams. It's when we're losing, we're losing just about. It's tight games. All right. Last time out, maybe 12-game defeat to the Timberwolves, but that was on a second night of a back-to-back as well. There should be no panic, and I think sometimes Heat Twitter especially needs to just put that sort of thing in perspective because it's been a good start to the season. On to tonight's game then, guys, against the Bulls. This is the game I tweeted out just a few half an hour or so ago. I'm really looking forward to this one. Apart from opening night, where obviously we're all buzzing to get going, this is a game I'll circle. This is a game that I was really looking forward to. Two good teams now. This is people had their opinions on the Bulls. They made some good acquisitions through the summer. People had their question marks, me included, about how far they could go. Sam, this is enough of a sample size now. We're a quarter of the way through the season. They're a good team. They're a good team. They're going to be there or thereabouts. I'm really looking forward to this. What about you?
Yeah, same. It's going to be a very interesting game to watch. I mean, they've been, to start the season, they were my league pass team, and they're starting to prove themselves as a real contender. I mean, in my opinion, other than Bam, what's his name? The guy from the Lakers is what's his name? The Lakers, the bald guy that everyone on the Lakers love. What's his name? Caruso. In my opinion, he's
been good.
He's one of the leading contenders for Defensive Player of the Year, and
he's been very good.
He could be a thorn in our sort of offense today. So yeah, I'd love to see how that plays. And I'm a huge Lonzo fan as well. So just watching the Heat and the Bulls play will be a very interesting game for me today.
Yeah, that's it. And Caruso, completely echo that, because he's been brilliant. He's been probably their best player. He's been fantastic. With Zach LaVine as well and DeMar. John, a lot of the questions that everyone sort of had about Chicago was the fact that they had some offensive weapons there. Defensively, it was who was going to make a stop on that team, who was going to win them games on a defensive end. Well, at the moment, they've got a defensive rating of 105.3, which is better than Miami's. Currently at 6th in the league defensively. So that's shut up a lot of critics, hasn't it? That's got to give them some plaudits there.
Yeah, he shocked everyone. That's when I go on my timeline. That's even Nikias Duncan. He was surprised by that. And if people that are that cover their Bulls and all those games more, and they're surprised by it, then it is pretty weird, shocking that they are that good. But then you think they got Caruso and Lonzo.
They've got Vucevic, heat killer.
Yep.
I think if you put them around DeMar DeRozan and like Zach LaVine, even though they're not the best defenders, but if you hide them with Caruso and Zoe, then their weaknesses aren't that amplified. You know, the same thing with what they do with Curry as well. Like Draymond and Clay, you don't really see Curry's weaknesses on defense, and that's the same what happened with DeMar and LaVine.
Yeah, definitely. So again, it's a good point. When I was just looking through some of the sort of rankings, as I do, one area here, Sam, that could be key for Miami. Miami are a very good rebounding team, quite almost surprisingly. Chicago definitely not. This is their Achilles heel. They're 27th in rebounding, 26th on offensive rebounding. They also don't shoot the three particularly well. So this rebounding could be a big issue. It could be a big thing tonight. This is a big gap between a very good Heat rebounding team and a very poor rebounding team from Chicago.
Absolutely. And if you look at the last game, we were out rebounded by the Timberwolves. It could be their length or whatever, but I'd be expecting this team to bounce back on that, because over the past few games we started the season with, they've started to build some sort of identity with regards to rebounding. The first few games, we were pretty much getting every single offensive rebound we could. And our rebound rate still is pretty strong, even though we had that bit of a blooper in the last game. But yeah, I'd be hoping to see this team wanting to just get their mark on the board, both offensively and defensively, and that should put us in a bit of favor against the Bulls.
Yep, definitely. John, both teams at full health, which is what you love to see. I mean, one or two sort of fringe players missing. Markieff Morris again missing another game, but don't worry, everyone, he deserved it. With lots of key matchups, a lot of exciting matchups. This is going to be a really fun game. What's the key matchup here to a Heat W?
I think Hero and Caruso.
Like it.
Hero's just been going off the bench, and Caruso is one of the best defenders off the bench. So I want to see how Hero is going to step up to his game against one of the league's best defenders. I wonder if they put Lonzo on Butler or on Larry. See that kind of matchup. Then, I wonder who is going to be on Duncan. If you get two of the best defenders on Hero or the Butler, you'll have one of the worst defenders on Duncan running around. So the matchups will just be most of our key players.
Yeah, definitely. That's it. It's going to be. That's why I think it's a really fun game. A little sort of side note. I think that Dwayne Dedman could have a role tonight. I think that he's going to be the biggest player on
Absolutely.
the court, because Chicago, a little bit like the Heat, are probably undersized. I think Dwayne Dedman could have a real impact on this game. What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, same. And I'd like to just see how if they kind of swap it a little bit. So like Bam gets a few minutes on Vucevic, and so does Dwayne Dedman,
Mm,
because Vucevic can be very crafty around the basket, especially with his sort of length that he's got, and he just spread the ball as well. So in response to your previous question, I would have said Bam Vucevic would have been a key matchup to watch. But
mm.
bringing now that you mentioned Dwayne Dedman, I started thinking, yeah, I'd like to see how Spo gets him in on that as well.
Yeah,
Who's the
definitely.
backup big?
Well, it was
Isn't
the
it
guy who got injured, but I've forgotten who it was now. I don't actually know. I don't actually know who their backup big is.
off the top of my head? No.
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's going to be a really, really exciting game. One I've really looked forward to. I think that after tonight, um, we then play 5 of the next 7 in the Heat House, John. So if we can get away with a win here, we could get some momentum and start heading towards that top seed. Nets are on a bit of a roll at the minute. Everyone else is sort of hit and miss. So again, like we've already sort of highlighted, if we can snatch this W tonight, Heat are in good shape with 5 of the next 7 at home.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big win against a strong team in the East, especially with how the past 10 games happened. They lost to the Wolves, barely a win against the Pistons. So I think that this would be a good confidence boost for
Mm.
all the guys, especially if some of the players will have a big game and just go back home, just push that record even better.
Yep, 100%. It's, as I said, I'm really looking forward to this one. So let's get some predictions, guys. Oh, it's going to go either way. I'm going to go last. Sam, you kick us off.
It's going to be a tough one. I'd say single possession win, Heat by 2.
Heat by 2. Yep. Okay. Well, just let you know, by the way, the bookies have this. Chicago did play last night. If you can call it a
Okay.
game against, if you can call it a game against the Magic, absolute stroll in the park for them. So this is a second night and a back-to-back for them, but it's as less a back-to-back as you could expect. It was a training run really for them last night. Really also bizarre that they played in Orlando last night, and now we're going out to them rather than them making a short trip upstate
Yeah.
to Miami. Don't know what happened there. Very bizarre, but there we go. So single possession win for the Heat for Sam. John, what are you thinking?
I'm going low hundreds with Heat by 4.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I will split the middle and I'll go Heat by 3. I think this is going to be really close. I think that there's not going to be a lead bigger tonight than more than double digits. I think it's going to go plenty of lead changes, a really exciting one. Let's hope it stays to the build task. Let's go with that. So Heat by 2 from Sam, Heat by 3 from me, Heat by 4 from John. Any of those will do nicely. We will take it all day long. So we will be on the in-game comms as always tonight. 1 a.m. tip. Come and follow us at the Miami Heat UK. Subscribe to the channel. We will be back. I think it's Monday night, but don't quote me on that. So we'll be back next week anyway. Enjoy the game tonight, guys. Let's see if we can get this W. Let's get it.